Alex Del Sordo of the Rose Choice Network, and we have Season 2, Episode 3 of Coaches Yelling. And I say this every time, I can't believe we've done this many episodes. And this was pretty good, okay? This one, okay, Sarah Lowe is clearly the favorite coach of the entire league. She's killing it in the Premier Rowing League. Hodge, nipping at her heels all the time, was the most arrogant coach going into it. He's a baller, and he's won last episode. And Issa, the quiet guy, I got this gut feeling that this smooth-talking criminal here is going to dominate this episode. He's just going to win, okay? He's a smooth criminal. He's going to do it. Newcon Empire. But 3 questions, one of which is a surprise. Coaches already know what the 2 are because they're tough. We need to give them a little bit of a heads up. Now, you all know who these coaches are, so we're going to get right into it. Hodge, we're going to start with you. You are in charge of the Big South Outlaws. You know what you're doing. You're a killer. Your team dominates week after week after week. But your first question, are you ready for this?
Ready.
Simple. I love it. Here it is. What's your best sales pitch to recruit athletes from other sports? You're on the clock.
I think it starts with defining the nature of our sport. When it boils down to it, we train 20 plus hours.
We've lost him.
20 plus. What?
You're back. Go back. Keep going.
Oh, sorry. You're training 20 plus hours a week, maybe as a junior athlete, a little less, for a chance to race 5 or 6 times a year. So you're training ridiculous hours. So what I think it boils down to when I'm trying to convince another athlete from another sport is to just kind of talk about my experience. I think when you win a race, whether it's a world championship or a junior regatta, I honestly think there's no better feeling in the world. And when you lose a race, especially if it's one you thought you were going to win, like you feel like shit for like a week at least, easy. So I think what it comes down to is just the competitive nature of our sport. Whenever you introduce other athletes to our sport, they generally fall in love with it and forget whatever they were involved with beforehand pretty quickly.
Okay, time. Mute them. CJ, mute them. Okay. All right. You're talking about your experience. That's kind of hard to scale, especially a 13-year-old boy or girl has no idea what you're talking about. Moving on, Sarah Lowe. Sarah.
Yes.
I think you're going to dominate this question. I don't know. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm wrong. You know the question. You're on the clock.
So I think the biggest thing about rowing, whether it's indoor, outdoor, anything you're trying to start, you're going to know in the first 2 weeks whether you love it or you hate it, right? Like you only need to try it a little bit. Even if you're not great, you're going to be like, wow, I can see I get better at this. Or like, wow, I really hate this. And this is not what I want to do. So my biggest sales pitch to our kids in Atlanta, to people joining the league, to like literally anybody getting started with rowing is you don't need a lot of time to try it out. You don't have to have any experience. You can come from any athletic background, give it 2 weeks, go all in. If you hate it, like what's 2 weeks? If you love it, you just found something you're good at. Let's go. So that's my biggest one.
Short and sweet. I love that. I love that response. Now, I think it's interesting, and coaches that are watching or listening, the way you pitch rowing is different from territory to territory, different parts of the country. Now, you have the Newcon Empire, Port Rowing, Issa. You are in the hotbed of rowing in the Northeast. Tell me, let's get him off mute, CJ or Issa, thank you very much. What is your best sales pitch to convince people to row? You're on the clock.
All right, just off the bat, like after 2 weeks, you know you hate it and you love it. So like you don't, it's not one or the other after 2 weeks. But really, it's like the easiest pitch is, you know, the team's not pre-selected when you're 5 years old like lacrosse is around here or some of the other sports. It's, you know, you're not disqualified because you don't have like, you know, sprinter's genes and the fast twitch like off the bat. It's like you show up, the work you put in determines how far you're going to go with it. It's a sport that's more about work than about talent. Obviously, talent will get you over the top, but you're getting nowhere without that work ethic. So that draws out a lot of kids that, you know, kind of, they can't do sprinting, they can't do other things. It's like, you know, it's almost pre-selected to a certain extent, whether you're going to be good or not. So.
Interesting. Okay, so time. So you're new to this whole coaches yelling thing. Sarah and Hodge are not. You need to just basically make me feel great, okay? And you win. That's how you win. You make me feel great and you win. So what you're saying is you tell the people you don't need to be a great athlete or a pre-selected athlete. Just come and try rowing. Guys, I got to tell you, coaches are not great salespeople, all right? They're not. They're just not great salespeople. You didn't convince me to start rowing. Next question. We're going to move right on. And Isa, it's with you again. So we go back around the horn again. Okay, here's the question. It's a long-winded one, so forgive me. We strive to provide value to those in our sport. 2020 has been terrible. Everyone knows it. We hate it. It's a terrible year. As a leader of your team in the sport, how are you motivating your athletes this winter, knowing that you might not have spring racing? You're on the clock.
All right. So, first and foremost, I just remind them like rowing's accumulation. So if they're not going to put in this work when we're down, when we start back up, we're going to get crushed. So like that keeps them on their toes. That keeps them driving. And the second thing is, we practice in the water with a few other teams. It's like, do you want to be slower, going by? Or do you want to own your island? So it's like pretty, it's pretty built in just because of the nature of the sport.
So you quick, easy. I like that. So you just tell them if you don't work out, you're going to lose. So it's like just like you said, it's accumulation. I had a great coach, John Bancarey, told me put hay in the barn. I love it. Sarah Love, we're going to move on to you now. Here where we're at. Isa scored 4 points after 2 rounds. Sarah's at 3. Hodge is at 3. So Sarah, you and Hodge are tied going into the final question or the second question.
Ready.
How do you keep your athletes motivated in an unsettled time? You're on the clock.
So I think you are totally right. 2020 has been horrible and really hard to manage. But the best thing for coaches is that it's made us think so far out of the box and take us out of, I've been doing this for 15 years, but whatever I did last fall obviously isn't going to cut it this fall, right? So like looking at motivating, looking at how we get kids to come back, we've like moved not away from performance, but we talk a lot about the community and getting back together and seeing value in being at the river, being outside, doing the sport that like you do it because your friends are there. We have some athletes that want to be high performers and crush it and be really competitive. And we definitely have built success, but looking forward to 2021, whatever that brings, like, it's not going to be like we all go out and march and crush each other. It's going to be, can you get all your kids to the race? And do you have kids still coming in the door and rowing? So our focus is motivation.
Time. You missed it. Motivation. I get it. Okay. You lost your time. 5 points. Hodge, you've already won season 2, episode 2. Come at me strong here because listen, I'm gonna push all of you. Erging is terrible. No one likes it, and they're gonna be doing it for a long time again. So we need more than just, hey, the water's coming. Don't worry. Hodge, you're on the clock.
Yeah, we kicked it off right at the start of the year by having a meeting. I had a meeting with all my athletes and saying, what motivates you? That's where we started. So figure out what motivates you. And I'm not gonna lie, half the kids said racing. And I immediately counteracted that with, well, we're not racing this fall. So like, what are we going to switch to? And so we talked about intrinsic motivation and just wanting to be the best you can be. And to Isa's point on the first question, that hard work, like that's what we're drilling this season. With a chance, a hope of racing in the spring, but who knows what's going to happen. But we switched it to, let's try to be the best we can be as athletes, without exterior motivation, promise of racing, promise of going to a national championship. We don't know if that's going to happen, but we're going to try to be the best athletes that we can be. And then if we do get a chance to race, that's just going to show that we've been working hard for the past 6 months.
Time. Okay. So after a word from our sponsors, we're going to come back for the third final question because we got a tie at first place. Isa down by 1, 5, 5, and 4. But we need a little bit more out of these coaches here on Coaches Yelling. More from us in a second. We're back. So the third question, we're going to be diving into a little bit more of the creativity because we think at Rowers Choice in the Premier Rowing League, all the coaches out there, all of you out there in charge of rowing programs or even assistant coaches are really scared and worried about how to keep athletes in the program because winter months are coming and it's really hard. But these three coaches know what they're doing and they're fantastic. So Hodge, my third and final question for you is, since COVID hit, right? Let's go back to March. What have you done differently to motivate your team, or what are you planning to do differently than years past for this upcoming winter? You're on the clock.
Well, the Premier Rowing League. No, all jokes aside. I do have a few athletes in the league. They're loving it. I think that's been a huge motivator. If you're not participating in the league and you're looking for things to do, what we've done differently, I think, is similar to what a lot of coaches have done differently as far as Zoom, not Zoom ergs, but like Zoom sessions with the team to have that camaraderie. And then actually doing like a Google Doc so athletes that are remote actually can still compare times with their teammates. And then other than that, depending on what area you're in, we've done local scrimmages and small boats to try to have some water aspect of competition. And, in the spring, we don't know what that's going to look like yet. I'm hoping we're racing. But if we're not, we're definitely going to try to shift some things up to where, we might do more of that virtual aspect, even though I know a lot of people are sick of virtual stuff. I think.
So here we are. So you're sucking up huge, great points, obviously, because you're the first one, Premier Rowing League, duh. Huge advantage there already. But you got Zoom, Google Docs, comparing times and scrimmages. All right. So every coach in the country is doing that. Sarah Lowe, what are you doing creatively different than anybody else out there? You're on the clock.
I just want to fight the points for the PRL because we all could say that. Like, well, that's all why we're here. But that's cool. It's fine. You got to go first, advantage, whatever. One of the things that we do, so we're capped in how many people can be at the river every day. I think that's a pretty common thing. Like, we used to have everybody there every day, and now we're on staggered schedules. They have some on your own stuff, things like that. So, like, for example, this week, the girls, we want them to run between 45 and 60 minutes on their own on Wednesday. So they have to submit the map of their run and draw a picture. And so, like, whatever their run is, I don't care how long it is, where they go, any of those things, but they have to, like, be creative about what the path is and then send us that. And I already had 2 texts today from the girls saying that's the most fun I've ever had on a run. So just kind of, I want them to be training as much as we would traditionally. We're not in that situation. So how can I keep it fresh, we don't all have youth athletes who want to grind on their own every day. So finding ways to, like, make it different, bring the challenge, like bring some other sign of
time. I like it. I'm gonna consolidate what you just said into more ownership in the athlete. So you've given the athlete more ownership for them to train, and by nature, they want to be better than one another, and they want to be more aggressive, and they just want to improve as a team. So that's great. It's really hard for coaches to give up that ownership, right? So I like that, Sarah. Now, Issa, you could pull out a victory here if what you come out is just mind-blowingly awesome. What are you doing or have you done creatively different than other coaches in the country to combat COVID and to combat what's been going on in this world? You're on the clock.
Yeah, so this year we're able to get in small boats. We're a big team. It's all about eights, so that changed the whole paradigm what we're doing in a good way. We're in New York State, so we're allowed to do a lot of other things, a lot of local scrimmages, controlled. We have a couple teams on our harbor with us, so it's like we can have weekly racing someone else. So the big thing is then pushing them to, each week I have a running spreadsheet. They look at, they're racing against themselves. That's how I run my team. You're trying to top yourself every week. So that's how I'm keeping it going. Skills competitions, doing a 1 minute test every couple of weeks, like little things like that are different from the past where I do a 6K, every couple of weeks. So that's how I've been keeping it fresh.
Time. So internal scrimmages, racing against themselves. I like it. All right. Hodge, you gave me you just you filled my heart with joy when you said the Premier Rowing League. However, Sarah is the winner. Okay, Sarah wins it. Okay, she called you out. It's accurate. Issa, I apologize. I don't apologize. You're just new at the game. You're new at the game. So, go Eagles, yeah, fly, whatever. So you're new at the game. You're going to learn. But that is it for us here at Rowers Choice Network, Season 2, Episode 3. Sarah Lowe, the winner. Sarah, I'm only going to give you the final words here. Let's close us out. Let's bring you back off mute. You're the last one to talk. Give it to us. How you feeling?
I feel great. I feel vindicated from my loss to Abraham Lincoln and Diggers a couple weeks ago. I feel this is like the best thing that has happened to me in the month of November. This is awesome.
That is awesome. And now, Hodge, you got one victory. Sarah, one victory. Issa, we'll see you back another episode here. We hope you come back. That is it for us here at Rowers Choice Network. Hope you enjoyed it. We have a bonus question for all you fans out there. Okay, everyone knows the election it's not over yet. It's going to be going on for a long time. But there has been a winner declared, Joe Biden. Now, the bonus question, we're going to start with Hodge on this one. In a 500-meter sprint, if the whole election came down to a 500-meter erg sprint, who is going to win this one? Trump or Biden, and why? You're on the clock.
Trump stands 6'3", 240 pounds, to Biden's 6', 160. I don't think this is even a question. I mean, Trump is about to toss this 500 meters. Yeah, I mean, I'm going Trump just purely from size and weight. Size and
All
weight.
right. All right, hold on. All right, Trump size and weight. How the hell did you know Trump was that tall that much? And how do you know that?
Google's your friend. Google's your friend. You know, just have to do a quick little research. You know, I had to call my CJ in the ear. He fed me information, and yeah, you know, I'm going.
All right, so Trump, size and weight. Issa, who are you taking on a 500? Biden or Trump?
Well, I think this is a pretty easy call. Like, Trump Jr. couldn't break 7 minutes, so and I'm pretty sure Trump family doesn't have any fast twitch. I'm taking Biden on that easy, you know.
Biden easy, fast switch. I love it. The Trump Jr. can't break 7. That's hilarious. Sarah Lowe, Biden or Trump? Who you taking?
100% taking Biden. 2 reasons. 1, it's 500 meters. If there were 100 meters, sure, size advantage. 500 at their age and fitness, I'm going to say a little bit of cardio is going to come into play. And we already know he jogs. 2, Trump, the size, he's not getting the full slide at 500 meters. It's just not happening. So
The big old belly's in the way. I love
right,
it.
I'm picking Biden.
Well, look, Trump is coming off COVID, okay? He's coming off having COVID. He's in the vent. Trump might have just so many drugs pumped in him, he wouldn't feel a damn thing. Biden, though, what? How old was that guy? 76? 78? Okay, look, we're going to leave it at that. Biden wins 2-1. That's it. Bonus question. Thank you for tuning in to Rowers Choice Network. Have a good one.